Of all the videos we've done on this channel about Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, how to connect them wirelessly and all that fun stuff, one of the biggest questions we always get asked is, can I add CarPlay or Android Auto to my vehicle that doesn't have it without exchanging the entire head unit? So we finally have an answer to that question. Let me introduce you to the 103 Pro by a company called Carpuride. This unit is going to allow you to add Apple CarPlay or Android Auto to literally any vehicle out there. Doesn't matter how old, doesn't matter what head unit you have, doesn't matter if you have a head unit. This thing is going to let you add that functionality and those capabilities. Let me get it out of the box. We'll take a really quick look and we'll jump right into the good stuff. Here's everything you're going to get in the box. First thing you're going to notice is the sheer size of the screen. It's a 10.3 inch full HD display. This thing is absolutely beautiful. The colors are very vibrant on it. You'll see when we get it hooked up in the truck. Very nice display. You're going to get some instruction manuals, your power cord. So you're going to run it to a 12 volts. There's different ways you can do it, but this is what comes in the kit. You're going to run it to your 12 volt outlet in the truck or your vehicle, and it's a USB-C connection that goes into the side of the unit. I do like that. You're going to get an aux cable. This is just one of the ways you can get audio out of this thing to play through your vehicle speakers. There's 4 different ways you can do that, which we will go over. You're going to get 2 different mounts. So this mount here, you can mount it permanently. You can see the screw holes. So if you wanted to screw this to your dash, you know, that's an option. I'm not sure how many people would do that, but it is an option. Or you can use some double-sided tape to stick it to the dash. And both mounts that they send are super adjustable. You can see that it rotates up and down. It also spins. And it's very solid. So you can mount this horizontally on top of your dash, vertically, you know, on the front of your dash if you wanted, and just have that adjustability to completely customize your install. The other mount it comes with is the suction cup mount. Now, these things, if you've never used one of these mounts, this suction cup is super tacky. So it's going to stick. Most people would probably use this on a windshield, but you can put it on the dash as well. So that's going to stick to wherever you put it. And then this lever on the back, once you stick it, you push that lever down and it suctions as well. These type of mounts are rock solid. I've used them before for different projects. Very, very solid, and again, completely adjustable. You can see we have all of the adjustment knobs here, so you can adjust it up and down. This even extends or goes in. The ball mount up here, again, just adjusts in a number of ways to give you the best mounting location and options for your application. Last thing you're going to get is a little disc that you can also stick to the dash, and then you can use that to mount your suction cup too. Before we get this thing mounted to the windshield and show you how CarPlay works, let's go over just some quick features. So on the back, you can see the main screen. On the back, on this side, you're going to have 6 different ports. So the top one is for an external mic if you wanted to plug one in. Next down is a micro SD card. That's going to allow you to put files, whether it's music or videos or pictures, on a micro SD card. Plug it in there, and I'll show you where you could access that on the screen. The following one, third one down, is a camera in. You can get this with an optional backup camera. We did not get that because we have, you know, a ton of cameras on the Tundra, but you can purchase this with an optional backup camera if you don't have one. Down below that is going to be an audio output. That's for that auxiliary cable that I showed you. Again, if you have an older car, or any car really for that matter, or a CD player that has an auxiliary in, you can run that cord that comes with this. You can plug it in there, run it down to your CD player or your dash, wherever, and that's one way you can get the sound to play through your vehicle speakers. After that, you have a USB port. Just like the micro SD card, you can put files on a USB drive and plug the USB drive right in there, and you can view, you know, videos, play music, pictures, and everything through a USB drive. You can also use this port to plug your phone into it if you need to do anything with a wired connection. We'll go over that in a little bit more detail in a second. And then lastly, down there, that's your power port. So that's where we're going to plug the power cord into that I showed you. A couple other quick features on it. Here in the front, this little dot, hopefully it's showing up, that's an external microphone on the front of the unit. On the back, you can see it also has an internal speaker. That's another way you can get audio from this device. Over here, this tiny little circle there, that's your light sensor. So this has auto brightness settings that you can use if you choose. That's where it's going to sense the lighting to either dim the display or make it brighter or whatever the case may be. And then these 4 slots right here, that's where you're going to put your mounts. So just real quick, if we look at the suction cup, you can see the 4 clips on there. You're just going to pop them in there, push them up. Actually, we can do that right now because we're going to use the suction cup mount. So slip them in there and pop them up in there, and you could probably hear that. That is a rock solid mount. You know, that's not coming off there. That really kind of clicks in place very nicely. And then lastly, you have the power button up here on the top, which we are going to use that for a couple things, which you'll see coming up. So first thing we're going to do is pick a mounting location. Now this is just going to be kind of for demonstration purposes so you guys can get a good look at the screen. I'm just going to pop the suction cup. As I mentioned, it does come with, I think I mentioned, it comes with a cover on there. Peel that cover off, and then that's very tacky. So you're just going to go ahead and stick it wherever you want to stick it. We're just going to use the windshield for demonstration for the video. And then once you have it stuck where you want it, go ahead and push that tab that I showed you in, and that really kind of locks it on there with that suction. Between the tackiness and the suction, that thing isn't going anywhere. So then you can see we have full adjustability. You know, you could pretty much angle this or rotate it however you want. I'm going to get it in a good location just for the video. Once you have it where you want it, just go ahead and lock down all of the knobs on it just to secure it in place. So now you're pretty much ready to power this thing up and get connected. We're going to use the included power supply. Again, USB-C goes into that port. And I didn't tighten down this last knob on the display just so I can kind of get back here to plug it in. But once we get that plugged into our power supply, we'll re-angle this and tighten that last knob down. And before I go ahead and plug this into power, I just want to mention, as you can see, my phone, I disconnected my phone from the truck completely. I didn't want any kind of, I want to pretend like this screen doesn't even exist for right now, just to show you how this all works if you don't have a display like this. So I did disconnect. Basically, I went into my truck settings and forgot my phone. Like, I disconnected it completely. So now we can go ahead and run your outlet to power. So just go ahead and plug that into your 12-volt outlet in your car. And here you're going to see the startup screen. Once it comes to, you'll get your main display right here. I'm going to go over all of these features a little bit later in the video, but we're going to jump right into connecting the CarPlay and show you how all of that works. You can also mirror your phone image up here. I'm going to show you how all that works because I really feel like that's what people are mostly going to want to see more than anything. So let's do that, but then we will go over the complete settings a little bit later in the video. Hey guys, if you like what you're seeing with this 103 Pro, check down below the video. We have a link and a discount code for you guys. $50 off. Carpuride was nice enough to give us a discount code that'll save you $50 on their website. Whether you want to get the 103 Pro or whatever the case may be, they do offer a whole bunch of units, smaller, you know, different styles, all that good stuff. But the link and the discount code will be down below. Save $50 on your order. Can't beat it. Okay, here's how easy it is to get this thing up and running with CarPlay. Basically, if you have an iPhone, you're going to be using the iPlay app and the AirPlay app. The AirPlay is going to be how we mirror the screen, which I'll show you in a second. But let's just get connected to CarPlay and show you how simple it is. We have not done this before, so I'm walking you through it, and you're going to see how easy it is right out of the box. So if you click on the Apple CarPlay or the iPlay app, you're going to get this screen here. So all you do is go into Settings on your phone, go into Bluetooth. You're going to have to scroll all the way to the bottom because we've never connected before, and you're going to find your Carpuride right there at the bottom. If we click on that, we're probably going to get some screens that we have to allow and pick. Yep, okay, so click on Pair, Allow, Use CarPlay, and then Allow. That should be the last one. Okay, and you're up and running. So just like that, you now have Apple CarPlay in any vehicle you want it in. And the coolest part about this is, because it's not connected to the vehicle yet, you can take this anywhere. If you're renting a car or you want to take this between vehicles, whatever the case may be, that's how easy it is to connect to your phone and get Apple CarPlay up and running. So you can see, we can go into my phone, you know, my contacts are already synced. I didn't have to do anything extra. All your recent, literally, basically, you're up and running at this point, and you have full access to Apple CarPlay, just like you would if it came in your vehicle, like it does on our Toyota Tundra. That's pretty awesome. Super quick and easy to get Apple CarPlay in your vehicle. Now, if you want to go back to the Carpuride screen, this little app called Car Home, if you click on that, whoops, that'll take you back to the main screen. Now, Android users, you're going to be using the A Auto function. Connecting is going to be basically identical, but if you have an Android, that's the button you're going to use instead of the iPlay. Okay, so again, that's simple. If you want to go back to CarPlay, just click on the app. Takes you right back into CarPlay. You can go into settings and, you know, do all your adjustments and customize stuff, things like that. I'm not going to go into crazy detail. I don't want this video to get all that long. I just want to show you how easy it is to get CarPlay in any vehicle you want. One thing I will show you is if you want to customize your layout of the apps. So if we come over here, you can see Spotify is on my second page. I do use Spotify. That's one of my favorite apps to use for music, and even Waze. I use that for mapping. So let's say you wanted to move these two onto your first screen. You can't do that from this display, and that goes for any kind of CarPlay, even if it was on our truck screen or whatever, you know, even if that's not a Carpuride thing, that's just a CarPlay thing. On an iPhone, if you push and hold the app, typically you'd be able to move it around where you want it. That's not how CarPlay works. In order to rearrange these apps, you have to go back into settings on your phone, and we're just going to search for CarPlay. When you're in the CarPlay settings, click on your Carpuride, click on Customize, and now you can see this is the list or the layout of the apps. So let's go down and find Spotify, and if we click over here on the right on those three lines next to Spotify, and let's say we want to drag that all the way up to maybe our third app between music and maps. Let go of it, and you can see in real time, it pops up there just that easy. We'll go down and find Waze, move that to the first screen. So we'll drag it up. Let's put that right next to Spotify, and boom, you can see it pops up real time. So that's how you're going to rearrange your apps on your Carpuride screen, or really any CarPlay screen, any CarPlay display for that matter. All right, let's talk about audio real quick before we go any further. Let's say we want to go into either Spotify or Apple Music, whatever the case may be. We're going to be playing some royalty-free music, so we don't have to worry about any copyright issues or anything like that. The way we have it connected right now, you can see my phone. My phone's back in my pocket. It's completely wireless. You know, you don't have to worry about it. And when you start the vehicle from now on, you don't have to go through everything we just showed you. It'll just automatically reconnect. So phone's in my pocket, out of my hands. And the way it's connected right now, if you press play, you're going to see that the audio is going to come from the device itself. It's coming from that speaker in the back. Now, if you're okay with that, I got to be honest, hearing this for the first time, it's actually better than I was expecting. The audio really isn't that bad. So if you have an older car or any car where the radio's broken, your speakers are busted, whatever the case may be, if you need to rely on this speaker, it's actually a better option than I was expecting. It doesn't sound all that bad. If you want to adjust the volume, you're just going to come up top here, just tap that power button, and you can see your volume controls will come up. So you can adjust it using the slider. And you see you have two different options, media and voice. Media is going to be for your music and videos, stuff like that. Voice is going to be for your mapping, I believe, like your turn-by-turn instructions, things like that. So that's how you're going to get it to play through the speaker on here. Let me show you the easiest way to get it playing through your vehicle speakers. And again, this is going to go for any vehicle out there. It doesn't matter how old or what kind of stereo, radio, head unit you have in your car. From here, we're just going to simply go back to our Carpuride home screen. And this option right over here where it says audio output, if you click on that, this is where you're going to see your options to play audio from the Carpuride. So right now you can see speaker is selected. That's why it's coming out of the speaker of the Carpuride. The easiest way to get audio playing through your vehicle, we're going to cover the other options as well, but the easiest way right here on the FM transmit. So you can see on our truck screen, hopefully, let me make sure we're in frame there. Yep, okay. So on our truck screen, let's just say we're going to select 87.9 as the frequency. You want to find a frequency that's empty, that's not playing music or anything like that, okay? So we're on 87.9 on the truck. Let's go to 87.9 on the Carpuride. And once you get to a frequency, a good one that you found, you can push these presets and hold. So we'll put this in number 1. So if we push and hold that, you can now see preset 1 is 87.9. So now if we go back to CarPlay, as long as these two screens are on the same frequency, and again, it doesn't have to be a screen like this. You could have a 30-year-old CD player, whatever the case may be. If you have a radio in your vehicle, this is all you need to do. Go to a frequency on your FM radio, match them up on the screens, and now if we go back in and play this, it's going to come through the vehicle speakers. Let me turn it up a little bit so you can hear, and you can adjust the volume on both devices. So again, if we tap that power button up top, let's go ahead and crank it all the way up on the Carpuride, and then we can fine tune it down here on the vehicle speakers. But it's that easy to get this through, playing through your vehicle. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, that's actually super impressive. I've tried this with non-royalty free music, like actual rock music that I listen to, and I will tell you, I was actually blown away by the quality of this connection with the FM transmitter. Typically FM transmitters, sometimes they're not as good as like a Bluetooth connection, but I will tell you, I'm hard pressed to hear a difference. If you find a nice clear channel like this 87.9 in my area that has no music or anything on it, that connection is solid. It sounds really good. There's no lag whatsoever. I'm super impressed at how easy this is to get to play and the quality of the audio coming from it. Now, if we go ahead and pause that, we'll go back to the Carpuride screen, and I'll show you the other audio options real quick. That's going to be probably the easiest, fastest way to get it playing through your vehicle. There are other options as well, so you can play it through iPlayer Auto. That and the Bluetooth transmitter function, I'm not going to lie to you, I couldn't get that to work. And when I went back and looked at the instructions, it actually does say on the back of one of the pamphlets you get, there is a small number of vehicles that the Bluetooth function to play music through your vehicle speakers doesn't work. I'll be honest, that was a little bit of a bummer, because when you get the 103 Pro, the Pro, that's one of the options. You're going to get, supposedly you're going to get better Bluetooth features, functions, and it's what's called a dual Bluetooth function. I'm not going to go into detail with what that means, but basically it means you connect your phone to the Carpuride, you connect your Carpuride to your vehicle, all via Bluetooth, and you're supposed to be able to play the music through your vehicle. I'm guessing because my truck is so newer, because it already has CarPlay, maybe that's the issue, I'm not really sure, but it does say on the pamphlet that the Bluetooth transmitter function isn't compatible with every vehicle out there. I will also say, honestly, if that doesn't work in your case for your vehicle, that FM transmitter, I just stated it, I'm actually super impressed with the quality from that. Honestly, other than the 103 Pro being a little bit more money, you know, so the little bit extra money was kind of a waste. Other than that, quality-wise, I'm hard-pressed to hear the difference between the FM transmitter and when I actually have my phone connected to the truck via Bluetooth. That FM transmitter is an awesome option, and that'll work for any vehicle on the market. And then the last option that's going to work for just about anybody who has an auxiliary port in your vehicle, the cable that I mentioned before, the aux cable. So you can plug that into the side of the device, run that down if you have a stereo or whatever that has an aux in. I can't show you that because unfortunately the Tundra doesn't have one of them, but that's just another way you can get audio playing from the Carpuride through your vehicle speaker. So you can see you have plenty of options. This will play audio through the vehicle speakers on just about any car out there, no matter how old or no matter what kind of radio you have in it at that point. So that's CarPlay. That's how easy it is to connect, get it up and running, and use all of the functionality that anybody with built-in CarPlay has in their vehicle. So let me show you how to get the mirror imaging from your phone up here if you wanted to do that. So you can use that if you wanted to, you know, if you're parked waiting for your kids or whatever, you want to play a YouTube video or even Netflix, basically mirror your phone onto the display up here. Let me show you how to get that done. All right, first things first, the instructions do say we have to come into settings. We're going to come down to phone link. And again, we're going to cover all those settings later in the video. I just felt like this is the stuff that people really are going to want to see. When you come into the phone link option, we're going to turn all the Android Auto stuff off because we don't have an Android. But you can see iPlay was turned on that whole time. That's what you're going to need turned on to get Apple CarPlay to work. In order to mirror, we have to go ahead and turn that off and then turn the function iOS Mirror, turn that on. Okay, so that's what this display should look like. And then let's go back to our home screen. So now we're going to come into our phone settings, and according to the instructions, we have to go into Bluetooth. We're going to disconnect from the Bluetooth connection of the Carpuride. Then we're going to turn Bluetooth completely off. Go into Wi-Fi. Click on the Carpuride Wi-Fi. And then you're going to come to a screen where you have to enter the password. So on mine, I'm not sure if it's going to be the same on everyone, but it does tell you if you went into the Wi-Fi or even in the instruction manual. Mine is just 8 number 6s. So, all right. And then join. And this should connect us to the Carpuride Wi-Fi, which you see there. Now at this point, before we go any further, the instructions say that we have to take a cable and plug our phone into the Carpuride just temporarily in order to sync it and quote unquote trust the device. So we're going to take a cable, USB, and plug it into the back of the device and then plug it into our phone. And there's the message right there. So just click on trust. And now you can see we have to enter the phone passcode, not anything with the Carpuride. So whatever your passcode to get into your phone is, go ahead and do that. I'm going to do that off screen, obviously. Okay, and you can see we're now mirroring the phone screen on there. Now we are wired. In order to get this wirelessly, what we have to do is you can go ahead and disconnect your phone, come back into settings, turn off the iOS mirror, and turn on AirPlay. And now on your phone, swipe down, click on your screen mirroring, and you can see Carpuride is right there. I'm going to go ahead and unplug the cord from the Carpuride because now we're completely wireless, and you can see we're mirroring on the screen. Okay, so that's, you could do it wired if you wanted to, or if you want it wireless, just do those extra couple steps and it's just that easy to get up and running. So let's just go into YouTube. We'll play one of my videos just to show you. There doesn't seem to be any lag or anything, and we'll also test out the audio, the volume. So let's click on our video that we just posted yesterday on our S2 Baja Design lights. So as you can see, it's mirroring. If you turn it sideways. Now there is no way, this is one thing that I wish you can change. There's no way to make this full screen. Now it does take up a good portion of the screen, and you can see, I'll put them side by side. There's really no lag whatsoever. That's pretty impressive. That's really good. Now the audio is coming through the screen on the Carpuride again. So let's go ahead and here's what you're going to get in the Baja. No, I'm sorry. My mistake. It's playing through the vehicle, which is even better. If you had any issues there, so let's go back to the home screen real quick. If you go back into audio output, let's say for some reason it's not playing through your vehicle, just go back into audio output and make sure FM transmitter is selected. If it goes back to speaker or whatever, just click on that. Same thing. Make sure the frequencies match and you're good to go. Okay. So yeah, there you go. It's that easy to mirror your screen on your Carpuride and allows you to watch videos or whatever. So this is awesome for anybody who doesn't have a newer vehicle with these new fancy screens. This gives you full capability no matter how old your vehicle is. I can't stress it enough. No matter what kind of radio you have, that's where this thing is really going to shine.
I have to say, I'm very impressed with this thing at the ease of use, the ease of connectivity, and the functions and features. This thing is pretty sweet for anybody with an older vehicle that doesn't have CarPlay or Android Auto. With that being said, if you do have an Android, I mentioned it earlier, you're going to be using the Android Auto app and the AutoLink app. So basically, the iPlay and AirPlay apps go together for iPhone users. And then, whoops, I tapped on the screen there. If you have an Android Auto, or an Android, I'm sorry, you're going to use the Android Auto and AutoLink to mirror your screen there. Okay, so that's how that all works for iPhones versus Android users. We got the most important stuff out of the way. Now let me just show you really quick some of the features and functions on the main screen itself. No CarPlay, no Android Auto, just the Carpuride itself. Over here on the left-hand side, you have your home button. If you're somewhere in the settings or whatever and you want to return to the screen, all you got to do is tap on that home button. Down below that is a question mark. If you click on that, it'll give you the support email just in case you're having any issues and need to contact them. The next two are your volume buttons. So you can adjust the volume by showing by doing what I showed you before, by just tapping the power button and then using the slider bars, or you can adjust it by using these buttons here. Okay. So just different way you can adjust the volume. Below that is a little sun icon, and that's going to allow you to adjust your screen setting, the brightness, or if you click on that, that's going to take it to your auto brightness and just kind of let that sensor do its thing. On the top here to the right of your home icon, this is going to allow you to toggle the background behind the apps. Now that's another thing. I wish you were able to customize that image behind there. As far as I know, there's no way to do that, unfortunately, but it does give you a few options, to cycle through and decide whichever one you like the best. I like just the black background, to be honest, so we're going to go ahead with that. Next to that is your equalizer function. This is going to allow you to adjust your audio no matter how you're playing it, whether it's music, whether it's videos, whether it's through the Carpuride, whether it's through your vehicle speakers, you can go ahead and adjust your audio settings. And there's some presets in here as well. So down here, it says standard, you see the two arrows there, you can go ahead and cycle through. I want to make sure my hand's not in the way. You can go ahead and cycle through here. You can see there's some presettings that they already have set up for you. And then there's a custom option. So you can go ahead and adjust all these sliders or whatever, fine tune it if you wanted to do that, and it'll save as your custom option. If you're not happy, you can just click reset and it kind of zeroes itself back out. There's also a loud button right there that you can click on to make the audio, a little bit louder coming through the speakers. Next, you have a couple icons here, your Bluetooth icon, and then we're connected to CarPlay still. Even though we're not using it right now, we still are connected. That's why you see that green square there. And then you have your clock. You can go in, I'll show you in the settings, you can adjust this as far as adjusting the time or a 12-hour setup versus a 24-hour setup. So nice digital display there with the analog clock up above it. Now let's focus on these 10 apps really quickly, and then we'll wrap this video up. So the first four we don't have to touch on. I've already explained what they are, showed you those two in action. If you have an Android, you'd be using those two. Audio output, we also kind of went over that. So let's go down to the last 5 down here. The phone and the music apps, let's say you wanted to connect your phone to play music or make phone calls or whatever, and you didn't want to use CarPlay or Android Auto for whatever reason. I'm not sure why you wouldn't, but let's just say you want to have a Bluetooth connection with no CarPlay or Android Auto. That's what you would use these two for. Connect your phone through for Bluetooth. You'd be able to make calls and all that good stuff just through the speaker system. Music, you'd be able to play your music or whatever through that app right there without being connected to CarPlay or Android Auto. The next two are what I mentioned earlier in the video. So if you take a USB device and put files on it, whether it's audio, video, pictures, whatever the case may be, plug it into the side of the unit in that USB port. That's where you're going to click on and view your files. Again, whatever they are, audio, video, whatever the case is. SD card, same thing, the micro SD card slot up here. If you have one in there, you'd click on that to view your files. And then lastly is your settings. We'll go in here real quick and I'll show you everything that you can kind of mess around with in the settings option on the Carpuride. All right, so at the top, you can change the language. There is a whole mess of languages in here, as you can see. And then to get back, you can see over here where that question mark was, there's a little back arrow now. So if you just click on that, it'll take you to the last screen. Time, as I mentioned, you can come in here and adjust. We're gonna like ours on 12-hour time. So you leave it on the 12-hour and then click out of it. Right drive, that's for if you're in a country that you drive, like on the US, obviously we sit on the left side of the vehicle. If you're in a country where you sit on the right side of the vehicle to drive, you can click that. Next, you can restore factory settings if you're having any kind of issues, and then system version, you can go in and check your software and all that good stuff, just to see what kind of version you're running on the system. Below that is the phone link option. We were already in here as well, so I'm not going to go into crazy detail. The top three are what you would use for Androids. Bottom three I already showed you with iPhones. That's how they all work. There's nothing down below AirPlay, so that's what you see is what you get there. And again, I showed you how those three work. Below that is your Wi-Fi. So this is where you would come in. That's what you're going to be searching for when you're looking to connect to your Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. That's the name of it. And then again, the Wi-Fi password right there. Wi-Fi channel, you can change this from 5 to 2.4. I haven't changed that or messed with that at all. I just left it on 5 and everything seems to be working perfect. So I didn't have any need to adjust that. You could also turn the Wi-Fi on and off. Obviously you want to make sure that's turned on when you're trying to connect and everything, but you can turn it off if you wanted to for whatever reason. Below that, you're going to have your Bluetooth function. So again, you can come in here, see the name that you're going to be searching for when you go to connect. Paired list, that's just going to show you any device that you've paired to with the CarLink. As you can see, my phone's in there, but that's the other cool thing about this is you can connect how many ever phones, like if your wife or husband's with you, your kids are with you, or whatever. If you want to be able to connect to their phones, you can pair them as well, and you would come in here to select whatever device that you want to use at that time. Discover list, that's how you're going to discover new devices. So if you come in here, click on that, it'll search for new devices, and again, if somebody was with you and you want to connect their phone, it would show up and you would just go through the pairing process that easy. You also want to make sure the Bluetooth is on up there as well to connect for obvious reasons. So lastly, down here, the driving, this is for if you get that optional rear view camera. We're going to go ahead and turn that all off just because we don't have that camera. Whoops. So you can see what you can do here, rear camera mirror, park line on or off. You can even come in here if you had the camera and change the park line settings, which is pretty cool. Again, we don't have that, so I can't really show you that, but if you got that camera, that's just some of the options that you can, adjust or change. One of the last questions somebody may have is how quick does it take once you power this up or turn your vehicle on, how quick does it take to connect to your phone? Once you do all that initial stuff, you don't have to do that anymore. It's just going to automatically connect to your phone as long as you have CarPlay turned on and everything. So the device is powered off right now. In order to turn this on and off, all you do is push and hold the power button. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see exactly how fast it takes to connect to my phone. Now my phone's in my pocket right now. So again, once you have CarPlay, you don't even have to take your phone out anymore. So let's go ahead and power this up and see how quick it'll connect. Okay, so that literally took, I don't even know, 10 to 15 seconds maybe. That is pretty impressive, pretty quick. That's awesome. So yeah, just to show you how quickly, once you get all that initial setup done, that's how fast you're going to connect anytime you turn your vehicle on or turn the device on. That's pretty impressive. There you have it, guys. Go down below. Let me know what you think about this 103 Pro from Carpuride. My opinion, my final thoughts, this is absolutely worth it if you are trying to add. If you don't have CarPlay or Android Auto in your current vehicle and you want to add it, instead of going through the headaches of swapping out head units and all that good stuff, number one, that's going to be a lot more expensive and a lot more of a headache. You saw how easy this thing is to get up and running in any vehicle out there, no matter how old or no matter what radio you have. You can add CarPlay or Android Auto to your vehicle just that easy. Well worth it in my opinion. I've had it in the truck for a few days, testing it out. Connectivity was flawless. I never dropped the Bluetooth connectivity or like the CarPlay. It never disconnected once on me. So that's very nice. As far as the audio goes, I was a little disappointed that the Bluetooth didn't work with the Tundra. Basically because I just wanted to show you that function. But as far as quality goes, that FM transmitter, I'm not going to lie, that's probably one of the best FM transmitter connections I've ever heard. When I compare it to my phone Bluetooth to the truck, honestly, I'm hard-pressed to find a difference. I think I mentioned that in the video. The quality through the FM transmitter, as long as you find a good channel that doesn't have background noise or, anything playing through it, man, I'm more than impressed by the audio quality coming through that FM transmitter that will work with any vehicle or any radio out there on the market. So I'm going to wrap the video up by saying this. If you don't have CarPlay or Android Auto, this is probably your best option out there. It's unbelievably easy to use. It's got a massive screen, 10.3 inch display, full HD as you saw. Couple minor things I wish you can change as far as, you know, the mirroring, making it full screen, things like that. But if you don't have CarPlay or Android Auto, are you really going to worry about something like that when you can get full functionality out of a screen like this? In my opinion, you shouldn't. So if you guys have any questions on this thing, drop them down below. I'll help you out the best I can. Don't forget, we do have a discount code. I think I put it on the screen earlier in the video. We have a link and a discount code down below. It'll save you $50 off. This, the price already isn't all that bad, but use our discount code, use our link. It'll save you 50 bucks off the already, you know, pretty good price for what you're getting in this package. So questions, comments, or concerns about this thing, put them down below. We'll get them addressed as always. And we are going to try to test this thing out in an older vehicle, just to see what happens, and maybe I can show you, we'll do a follow-up video, and maybe I can show you, you know, some of the other functions on an older vehicle that, you know, doesn't have all this fancy stuff that our Tundra has. So stay tuned for that. Questions, comments, or concerns, put them down below. We'll get them addressed for you. As always, thanks for watching. We appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.